The American people are so fed up with this impeachment nonsense and this political battle that they may be missing the most important part of this, and that is that this is unconstitutional rambling that's going on between the House and the Senate, and it is destructive of our Constitution and the President's legal rights.
Mulvaney, B. Then you have the DOJ, C. So, okay, what would that mean? Conflicting testimony. What would that be in a court of law? That would be a wash, wouldn't it?
Yep, exactly. I don't understand how they think they need to have somebody else. You have all the facts you need right now. You should get back to the American business. Think of this. Inside the House, Chairman Nadler is the head of the Judiciary Committee. They are more excited about trying to remove the president and then trying to remove fentanyl. We have a bill there that could do just that. The American public wants us working like President Trump has been working. I don't understand. It's not the role of the Senate to bring any witnesses in. There's no need. The House, they took a vote. They said they had everything they need.
It's not the role of the Senate to bring in more witnesses. They're not there to do the House's job. The House didn't do their job.
They never subpoenaed Bolton. You have everybody else saying this did not take place. I think the American public wants us to move on.
I do think if you're going to go down this road of witnesses that were not called in the House, then you got to bring in Schiff.
Sean Hannity does not listen very well sometimes. He just said the American people are tired of this and want us to move on.
You got to bring in the hearsay whistleblower, who apparently 2 weeks into the Trump administration was talking to others, according to a report, about how do we remove Trump. So you got Schiff. And then I think you got to bring in Joe and you got to bring in Hunter. Because if the president, by hearing the tape of Joe bragging, we just had the 2-year anniversary of this, hearing that his son had zero experience being paid millions and taxpayer dollars being used to shake down another country so a family member can make more millions, I would argue that the president was well, not only within his rights, he took a sworn oath to uphold the laws of the land, and it would sound to me like he was doing just that.
The president believes in accountability. We've watched him from his own business sense. He's not just going to send American tax dollars out there without making sure they're being held accountable. But you are correct, Sean. You know what we have not seen? We've never seen that 18th witness, the Inspector General. Why?
Why haven't we seen this 18th witness? Radcliffe has.
Because we all know that it would prove that Adam Schiff was a fact witness. Remember, Adam Schiff started all this through his lies, but he also said he was so afraid the whistleblower couldn't testify. The only reason why this whistleblower has not testified is because Adam Schiff has protected him, because he lied and he met with him. One thing that we have to see moving forward,
because Adam Schiff lied and met with this individual. Think about that.
Schiff should have to testify as a fact witness. But I don't think we need this. The question before us is, should the president be impeached? And you were right. No Republican voted that way, but also bipartisan vote inside the House said no, the president should not be impeached. There's no more witnesses that have to go forward. You have the transcript. Money was sent to Ukraine. Ukraine did nothing to get the money sent to them, and they didn't even know the money was being held up until the political story. What more do you need than all those facts? No other president has given the transcripts, and if you do go to witnesses,
the main fact
they have to be deposed. It's going to go on forever.
They got the money. They didn't get any promises. They didn't get any investigations. They didn't do a thing. They didn't even know they were supposed to do a thing. Amazing. Congressman, thank you. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Even top Democrats, they're starting to realize impeachment is a big flop with the voters. I was a little shocked even myself. Listen to former Obama senior advisor David Axelrod. Pretty revealing moment.
I was in a focus group this morning for the Institute of Politics here at the University of Chicago with some Chicago Democratic voters, and it was chilling to hear them talk about this because impeachment didn't even come up. No one volunteered it for 80 minutes into the focus group, and you know, we're right in the middle of the trial. When it came up, they said, you know, it's terrible what he did. The case has been proven, but we know how it's going to turn out, so we're not really that interested. We're ready to move on.
I think a pretty fair interpretation. Here with reaction, Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson and Florida Congressman Michael Gates. Congressman Johnson, a member of the president's impeachment team. Mr. Congressman Johnson, we'll start with you. Your take. I actually think this was a beatdown. It was a systematic, they ripped this case apart, top to bottom, sideways and every way in between, and they had a great team.
But no one is listening anymore. Unfortunately, American people are fed up and they're not listening. They want it behind them.
Doing it.
I'm so proud of this legal defense team. I've litigated cases in federal court for 20 years before I got to Congress. I've never seen a team work so efficiently and effectively. Almost no one is watching this anymore. As that previous clip indicated, most of America has tuned out. And the only bad thing about that, Sean, is that they're not seeing how we're systematically and utterly destroying the House manager's case. They brought...
Now, this is an important point. People aren't watching. They aren't listening. Unfortunately, because of our lackadaisical commitment to higher moral standards. That's why we're in this political mess in the first place.
Nothing to the table. We've shown that pretty clearly, and at the end of this, I think the Senate's going to find that conclusively.
Well, I think you're probably right there, too. And let me go, if I can, Michael Waltz, your take watching all this unfold today.
Yeah, Sean, I was just down in my district, and I just can't overemphasize. People are tuning this out. They've had enough. The Democrats have been crying wolf for 3 years now. They want us to get back to real issues. This is a bunch of politicians fighting with each other. But meanwhile, in the House, this coming week, as rockets are falling on our embassy in Baghdad, the House is going to move to tie the president's hands, repeal the authorization of the use of military force, prevent him from continuing to respond and deter Iran. Look, he needs to, just this week alone, he is going to continue to put points on the board. We have a Middle East peace deal being announced tomorrow. We have USMCA being signed this week. And when that Dow crosses 30,000, that's what people care about back home. They care about immigration, health care, prescription drugs, things that affect their lives. Not all of this fighting up in D.C.
Yeah, I thought Professor Dershowitz in particular on the constitutionality of this could not have been more spot on. What is the crime, Congressman Johnson? Tell me.
There is none, and he made the point very effectively. The only two previous impeachments, the examples we have in history from Andrew Johnson in 1868 to Bill Clinton in the late 90s, you had specific crimes that were committed and a ton of evidence verifying that. They haven't alleged any crime at all here, and they never met the threshold. The Democrats never met the threshold for an impeachment. That's the first question the Senate has to answer, and when they do, it moots everything else. All this debate about witnesses and documents and all the rest is totally unnecessary because they never sent over valid articles of impeachment. And the scary thing is, Sean, the biggest point that Professor Dershowitz made and others, and we've been saying for weeks, is that they've opened a Pandora's box. They have now put the bar for impeachment so low that every future president will have to be looking over their shoulder. If a majority in the House is from a different party, the base is going to demand that they take that president out. This is exactly what the Founding Fathers feared. And here
This last statement that he said is so critical because it destroys the presidency and destroys the Constitution at the same time and the balance of power. If this bar remains this low, we are in serious trouble in the future with opposing parties in Congress.
Here we go. Congressman Waltz, I mean...
We're going to end it there. Good day. Too bad more people aren't paying attention.